welcome back to a new weekly vlog. Today is Monday, and don't mind the hair. Came home, threw it up. It's just the Monday vibes. You go back to work after having 2 days off. You want more days off, right? But the phone rings, you got all this stuff that you got to do. It's beginning of the week. So it's just Monday vibes. Right? So I don't hate my job. I love my job and I love who I work with and stuff, but it's just Monday. I mean, everybody knows how that is. Whether your week starts on a Monday, a Friday, or whenever, it's Monday vibes. First of the week vibes. So before we get into this vlog, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you comment below about any comments of the books that I'm reading or any suggestions of what you would want me to read. Make sure that you click my link below for the Patreon link so you can go and join my Patreon. Become a member, be active in the book club, be active in the book club's suggestions and picks that we're going to be doing. Also, I'm going to be starting to do sprints. I'm going to start doing a lot of other things. I have giveaways going on. I'm looking into what kind of merchandise, I'd like to send my top tiers. So just make sure, that you head on over there and everything and stay connected. Talk books with me. Also, my Instagram and Goodreads is linked down below as well. So let's see what I've been doing. So yesterday, after I did my wrap up, I didn't read anything yesterday. Not a single thing. I am still reading Blood Price. We already know the choice I made on that, so I'm committed at this point. I'm about 32% of the way through. I didn't read it much this weekend. But guys, Blood Price is so good. I know that it's a prequel, and like I said last week in my vlog, I'm pretty sure I know who these two characters are, but I'm still waiting for that to be revealed because I could be shocked and it might not be them. So there's that. But I wanted to quickly come on and tell you guys that I started Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. With this book, I wrote down what was left on my TBR and I sent a picture to my husband and I said, pick one. And I didn't even write out the full name. I didn't give pictures. Like, I wrote Long, and I wrote for Long Live the Elf Queen. I wrote Order for Order of Scorpions, kind of thing. Bonded. So he ended up picking Bonded. And I'm actually pretty happy he did, because I've been kind of not picking, not really the best books, but books that are keeping my attention. And I am 15 chapters into this. How many pages is that? Because I do have it on audio. So I'm 71 pages into this. And it is good. You are following our female main character. What is her name? You guys know I'm terrible with names. Good Lord, I don't even know. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling if I've ever seen one. Because this girl goes looking for her father, who does all this traveling and everything, and she always asks him to bring her back flowers. And I guess he got caught stealing a rose in the Fae realm, and he gets caught and captured. She ends up going to the Fae realm, and she doesn't even know how she got there, and she ends up trading her life for his. Does that sound familiar? But there's 4 of these beasts, and I think they're the 4 princes of winter, spring, autumn, and summer, I believe. And so anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. She's in the castle. She is not allowed to leave, and that is kind of where I'm at. She's met, I think, 3 of the 4 princes so far. So I'll give you some updates on it, but definite Beauty and the Beast vibes. And I think I also read somewhere that this is a reverse harem. So does she, get with all 4 of the princes? I need to know. So I'll definitely update you guys. I'm really loving the vibes on here. I'm really loving what's happening in the first 71 pages. So now I'm torn because I'm like, do I keep reading this or do I pick up Blood Price tonight? Because I do not know. I don't know. We will see what I end up doing tonight. I don't even know if I'll add in any role of what I'm doing because I might not do nothing. There is not any updates or anything like that for what happens tonight. I'll just check back in with you guys tomorrow or Wednesday whenever I do have another reading update. I will try to get some footage of things, but, I don't think we're really doing anything special tonight. We're having a pizza, and we're just sitting around. So we'll see how it goes, but I will update you about Bonded by Thorns or also Blood Price whenever I get further into either one of them. But both of them are extremely good, and I have a very good feeling about this week. I think I'm going to have a lot of good reads. So I will see you guys whenever I check back in next time. Okay, it is Wednesday. I have some updates for you. Have a very mini book haul, and I am so excited for this week on reading. If you've watched the last couple weeks of my vlogs, you have realized that I'm not picking up a lot of books that just grab me or that I love. More times than not recently, besides the Blood Grace series, I'm not really enjoying the books. Pardon my hair. It's Wednesday, wild day at work. I'm just ready to get some reading done tonight, to be honest. But I'm feeling better this week than I was last week. And I just feel energized to get some reading done. I've been getting some cleaning done. Just doing a lot of different things. Just trying to relax whenever I get off work and everything. So let me get into the book updates that I have for you. So I think on Monday, I think I told you, I don't even know, did I update on Monday? I can't even remember. I don't even remember what it was that I was reading before this, but I know that I have been reading Blood Price. There's no updates on that. I haven't read anything else in that because I have actually found some books. I did tell you that I wrote down on a sticky note for my husband to pick out my next read, and I just put like a name on there. And he had picked Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. Now, let me tell you about this book. So I got this originally at Barnes & Noble only because of the cover. I didn't even read the back of it, had no idea what this was about or anything. And so whenever he picked it as my next read, I was like, okay, let's do this. And I think I even said that this was definitely a Beauty and the Beast retelling because you have a girl who goes to the Fey realm and her father is, a prisoner. So she says that she will be the prisoner in exchange for her father as long as he gets to, go home safely. And so she stays in this castle with 4 princes and, definitely like down to the storyline Beauty and the Beast. And then all of a sudden, there's even little things in there about how she's excited about a library and these people are cursed, that are living in this. So I'm like, wow, this is definitely Beauty and the Beast, like almost to the plot line, right? Then I ended up finishing this yesterday. Oh my gosh. At first I was kind of just joking around, being like, oh, here we go with another retelling. But guys, this book is good. It is so good. You are following, what is her name? Y'all know. Rosalina. You're following Rosalina. She is the girl, and she is trying to break this curse that is over the 4 princes. And the 4 princes are the princes of their different realms. They're Fae. And you have winter, spring, autumn, and summer. And I can't remember all of their names at the moment. I know there's Keldarian, who is the winter prince. Farron, I think, is the summer prince or the autumn prince. And then you have Dayton and you have Ezrin and Dayton, I think, are the spring and summer, and I think Farron is autumn. I could be wrong. I know Keldarian is the winter. And she forms a friendship with all of them except Keldarian. And she's trying to break this curse. And I don't really want to tell you what the curse is about, because if you want to go read this, definitely I highly recommend checking it out. But she's trying to break this curse, and along the way, she realizes that what she's being told isn't real, and what she thought before coming here isn't exactly true, and she, grows closer to these 4 princes, and, just... The story is so, so good. I love Rosalina's character. I love the, personality of all of the princes, especially, broody Keldarian. He's just, the anti-everything type of prince. And I really love it. I loved the way that this world was built up. I know that, plot line for plot line is very similar to Beauty and the Beast, but the author, I think it is a sister duet, that writes these, and they did a really good twist on it. They did a really good twist on the curse. They did a really good twist on a lot of things. The world is great. The side characters are great. I fell in love with literally everything, and I went to immediately read the second book on Audible because, like I said, I do a lot of my books through Audible, because I can listen to them while I'm at work, and it's not available. So I was so sad. I called my husband and I was like, how dare you pick a book that, I can't even continue yet. So Woven by Gold is already out. So if you read this physically, you can already read Woven by Gold, which is the second book. And then I think Forged by Malice says that it's coming out in winter of this year. So could be November, December, could be January, February of next year, pushed back a little bit. But I can't wait to get back into this world. So highly recommend. Finally have a 5-star read. It's been forever since I've had a 5-star read. Even my Blood Gray series isn't a 5-star. So absolutely love this. So I highly recommend. It's a fae fantasy romance, very similar to Beauty and the Beast, but definitely check it out. So then after that, I was like, okay, my husband picked out a good book. What book am I going to read? So I ended up picking out Order of Scorpions by Ivy Asher. This is the Fabled edition that I had gotten a while back. And I wanted to pick this one up. I don't think it's part of a series, so I was like, good, I'm not starting any more series. I don't need that. And then it is kind of like a why choose romance from what I understand. And I do understand that it gets very dark in certain situations. So I'm on chapter 11. And I think there's like 60 or 70 chapters. But, I mean, it's a thick book. I'm on chapter 11. And so we're just now getting into the meat of the bones of the story, right? So you're following... One of these days I'm going to put a note here that reminds me of their names, because I can hear everything happening, but I just can't. Oswet? Can't be Oswet. Osset is the girl's name. She wakes up. She's in a prison cell kind of thing. She does not know who she is, doesn't know her name, doesn't know where she came from. She knows absolutely nothing about anything about herself. And so all of a sudden, these masked guys come in and kill, I think, the people that stole her, I want to say. And then they leave her be. And then she ends up being put with this guy who kind of runs like this slave trade where he trains people to be like assassins and slaves and stuff like that. And then these orders of, different groups of people come and bid on them every so often and can take them back as like a sex slave or whatever, right? So the Order of Scorpions are supposed to be the guys that are like the most deadly, the most feared, right? And they never show up to do any bidding or anything like that because, they don't need anything from this guy. But they accept the invitation this year. So now it's a big deal. And Osset is tasked with being one of the 2 slaves that tends to them. Now, technically, the guy says, oh, you can... have the slaves do whatever you want them to do, right? Like insinuating sexually or otherwise. But whenever she goes to the Order of Scorpions, they just ask, why should we pick you guys? Why should we pick you? And she's just like, I'm going to be dead before you get to bid, so it don't matter, right, if you wanted me or not. And they don't want to have sex with her or anything. They just, dismiss them. And they have to go through these trials to show, like, their, assassination skills, their fighting skills, different things like that, so then orders can bid on them. And all of a sudden, we're finding out more about Osset as Osset is finding out more about herself. And come to find out there's more to Osset than she even knows. And you get the perspective of the Order of Scorpions. There's 3 of them. You get their perspectives. And now things are starting to move, right? Now we're starting to know who Osset is. They're intrigued with her. Osset is like, I'm just going to be dead, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say what's on my mind and not even care. And I love that about our girl. So I am not very far into this, but I'm not going to lie, guys. If this book continues the way that the first 11 chapters have continued, I'm all in. I'm all in. So that's my reading update. Like I said, I haven't gotten any further into Blood Price, so as soon as I do, I will update you on that book as well. I'm trying not to put that book above my TBR because, now that I'm starting to read books that are really gripping me, that are really making me want to read again, I don't want to kind of defer over to that and get engrossed with that world because I love it. I absolutely do. But, I want to read these books too. So I'm going to keep reading Order of Scorpions, and hopefully tomorrow or Friday I will have finished it. I will have more to say on it if it does continue to get better, which I'm hoping it does because I have heard a lot of people online raving about this. I've heard a lot of people say that it's a great book, and from what I understand, all the research I have done, I don't think this is a series, which is great for me. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is my little book haul that I just got today. This was one of the books, again, that I got whenever I traded with people, but it is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I've heard a lot of good things about this, that this is heart-wrenching, that this is, going to make me cry, all of these things, and I'm all here for that vibe. Right? So I'm happy I got this one. I'm really not happy with the way that my delivery guy did this because it's like all bent, and oh well, it's not like it's a special edition. I'm pretty sure whenever I read it, I'm going to end up bending it anyway. So I got 1,000 Boy Kisses. And then the next one, I completely forgot that I pre-ordered these until I opened the box. And it's from Arcane Society a few months ago. The author of the month was Stacey Marie Brown, and you got the first 2 books in the Savage Lands series. And then she opened up a form that whoever got those 2 books was able to purchase the other 4 books to make it a full set. And of course I did. So I got Badlands, I got Shadowlands, which, I don't know if you guys can see or not, but, it's still in the wrapping. I just took it out. And then you have Deadlands, and the next one you have Bloodlands. And I don't know, I think they're right here, actually. Yeah, you have Savage Lands, which they're stunning, you guys. Just to kind of show you what the insides look like a little bit. Look at that. So beautiful. I did end up meeting Stacey Marie Brown at Authors in the Bluegrass back in October in Lexington. So I was pretty excited for that. And then you have Wildlands, which I can't wait to open up these books and see. But look how beautiful they are. You can show them, with the naked hardcover, or you can show them with this cover, whichever one you like. So now I have the full set of Savage Lands. However, I haven't read the series. So there's that. How many people out there have bought books like special editions or series and you haven't read them yet? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm guilty of that. Okay, So the next book that I got is not even a purchase. It was, if you watched my last vlog, I think it was, I had gotten a damaged copy of my pre-order of My Dark Romeo, which I haven't taken out. So I just got this in the mail today. So now I'm going to open it, make sure that it's not damaged, and then return the other one. I have until, like, I think August 31st to return it. So I have plenty of time to open this, make sure that it's still good, and then get that one to the drop-off spot. So that is it for my update today. I will either update you guys tomorrow or Friday. I don't know, because there's some days that I get off work and I just don't want to come home and make a video. And then there's other days like today where it was a wild, crazy day. My hair is falling out everywhere. And I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys about those two books because I'm having the time of my life this week. I feel better. I feel rested. My horrible last week is behind me. I'm going to spend some time with the husband tonight. Whether that be gaming, whether that be me laying on the couch reading and him gaming and we're just in the same room. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do know we're having tacos tonight, so I got to get that going. I'm going to get some reading done. I think I might read some Blood Price tonight because I do want to finish that book. I think I'm like 57 or 60% of the way through Blood Price, so I could easily finish that up tonight if I wanted to, which I might, just so I have that out of the way and I can read the novella, which is Blood Dream. That's like book 4.5 before I read book 5. So we're going to see. But I hope everyone's having a good week, and I will catch you guys in the next vlog. Bye. Hello everyone. So it is Friday. I was sitting down to make my video that is going to go up tomorrow, which is all the series that I'm currently in the middle of reading, whether that be if I have started it and I haven't continued on with the series, or if I'm waiting for books to come out. So I was about to sit down and I realized I haven't updated you guys about what I have read thus far since, I think, was it Wednesday whenever I updated you last? I think so. So on Wednesday, I told you that I had started Order of Scorpions. So the thing is I have not finished this. This is a chunky book, you guys. But I think it's not a series. I don't think. So that's really good. So it's going to be a standalone. However, I am... What chapter am I on? I think I'm on chapter 28 or 29. And I don't know how many pages that is in here because I was listening to the audio while I was at work. And on here, I don't know how I feel about it. So it started off really strong because we had this world where Osset was in like this, it's not like really a prison, but it is kind of like a prison, and she was being trained as like an assassin to be part of the orders and all of this. And here come all the orders. The Order of Scorpions are one of them, and the Order of Scorpions are actually like the deadliest order out there, and they're like assassins type of thing. And so everyone fears them. No one knows what they look like because they're always glamored to look like skeletons, I think, or like in a skeleton costume, and they're fae. I think everybody in this world are fae, I think. And so they meet Osset, and everything was good. Like, the pacing was amazing. We had a lot of action scenes. We had a lot of drama and intrigue and wondering what is going on and why does Osset not have any memories? Why do the Order of Scorpions never purchase one of the blade, what do they call them? Blade assassins? They call them something, but they never purchase them, so you don't even know why. All of a sudden, Osset's powers are being shown to us about what she can do. And she always talks about like how she discovered this, but she never wanted to let anybody know. And so she can shadow walk, and she has fangs, all of these different things, right? And so she is tasked by the guy that runs this whole thing to kill somebody from one of the orders. And at first she thinks it's someone from the Order of Scorpions, but it ends up being somebody in a different order. And you find out later on who that is. However, she realizes that's a death sentence because they have like an oath or a pact or something that is law that you cannot kill or do anything like that during these events. And so she knows that it's going to be a death sentence. So she doesn't care what she says to the Order of Scorpions. She doesn't care what she's doing or anything like that. So everything was great, right? But then things happen. I don't really want to run what, kind of transpired. But now she's with the Order of Scorpions, and she doesn't know why, and they're not treating her like a slave. They're telling her that she's free, and she doesn't believe it. And they want her to be one of them, which is very unheard of. And they promise her that they will find out what happened to her, and where she comes from if she sticks around. And so, of course, she's like, I'll stick around. And, in her mind, she's like, I'm just going to find out what's going on with me and blah, blah, blah. Now we're in the part of the book where it's very lackluster. There's not a lot of action, not a lot of angst. There's not a lot of anything. Like, you can tell that they all want to be with Osset, and you can tell that Osset wants to be with them. But there's not really a whole lot of angst. I feel like there was in the beginning of the book when everything was happening. But now we're at the part of the book where I'm starting to lose interest. I'm starting to lose, the drive to want to continue because there's really nothing going on. You're following Osset throughout this house where she's learning that she can eat more than one meal a day. She's learning that she can have weapons, that she can be trained, all of these different things. And that's about it. There's not really any movement in the plot. There's not really any movement in the romance department. It's kind of dull. And so I'm hoping that with this being a huge chunker of a book, I am hoping that we get out of that pretty soon because I want more angst. I want more of the story. I want to know why Osset doesn't have memories. I want to know who these Order of Scorpions are. I want to know where Osset comes from. There's a lot to the story that I want to know. And I feel like where I'm at is probably close to halfway through the book if I was to judge by how much I've already listened to and how much is left on the audiobook. About halfway or a little under halfway through the book. And I am to the point where I'm just like, okay, can we get on with the story? There's a lot that I want to know. How are you going to wrap all of this up in the last 50%? Because you have to wrap up what was going on with the slave trades, that whole area. You have to wrap up who Osset is, and where she comes from and all of these different things. You then need to wrap up who the Order of Scorpions are and all of that. Right? And for me, and then you got to add in the romance because it's supposed to be a why choose, right? So there's a lot that I want to know and that I want wrapped up. And I feel like if we don't start getting that within the next 5 to 10 chapters, I don't feel like the author is going to have enough time to do that. So I'm really curious to see what is going to happen. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to go progressing forward in the next 5 to 10 chapters. And if it doesn't start moving towards any of that, then I'm going to start wondering, is this going to be a series or a duet? Because I don't want this to just be about the romance and then her end up just being, kind of put on the back burner and her history not really making, much, forefront. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'm going to get any reading done this weekend. I'll be very honest. I'm quite busy with the husband. We have a few things going on in our guild online. We also have some things going on with some friends and such. So we're going to see what I get done and read. Normally I'll put on my earphones and continue my audiobook as I'm cleaning or doing laundry or whatever. So we'll see how much I get through this. I really don't think that I'm going to get through this by the end of this vlog, because that would be tomorrow. And with me having 50% left to go in this big chunker of a book, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm at least intrigued, and hopefully tomorrow I can give you some idea on... I hope I get further, so that I can give you an idea on if I think I'm going to like the ending of this book or not. The next update that I have to wrap up this Friday is I finished Blood Price by Vila Roth. I actually finished that up today on my lunch, and I want to say that I absolutely adore these characters, and I know that they're not Leo and Cassia and the normal cast of characters that we're following in the Bloodgrace series, but it was really nice to get that backstory about where the three Hesperines come from, kind of get a backstory on how they all three came together. I don't really want to name who they are, because if anybody watching this is wanting to read the Bloodgrace series, it's a huge spoiler. So I don't really want to give away much about that, but the plot was so good. I know it was a 300-page book, but the plot was very good, very well done. The characters themselves, for who they are in the Bloodgrace series, was done very well on how they became Hesperines and why they all three are together. And then I really liked how Vila Roth ended Blood Price, because at the end of it, there's an event that happens that basically is what leads Cassia to want to meet a Hesperine in Blood Mercy in the very first book. So I really like how that was woven together and put in kind of like a chronological order, where it's like one book can seemingly, just flow right into the very first book of the series, which is how a prequel should be done. I really like the fact that, at first I was like, I don't know if she's going to fast forward and we're going to see the events of what happened to Cassia when she was a young child and why it led her down the path that she's on. But it did. And I was really happy that that happened, because there's a lot of prequels out there that'll be like 20 years ago or 100 years ago, and they tell you something, and then whenever it ends, it doesn't really like roll into the first book like it should. So I think the author did an amazing job with that. Loved the cast of characters. The only downfall, the only reason why I ended up giving it 4 stars, if any of you follow my reviews, which I don't really type out reviews anymore on Goodreads, I just give them star ratings. But the reason why I gave it a 4-star is because what is Shakira, I think is how you pronounce it, what she is out there doing and why she now is this gifter to these Hesperines and stuff is not even made clear. So I don't know, because I'm already getting ready to start book 5 in the Bloodgrace series, and there's 7 books total that are currently out at the moment. And I'm getting ready to start book 5, so I'm wondering, am I going to learn anything about her quest that she's on, why she feels like she can't go back to Orthros or can't let the first prince know that she's out there? Like, there's just so much. And I was hoping, like, towards the end, the way that Vila Roth was writing that prequel, I thought that she was going to at least divulge that so we could know. But again, we don't know. So that must be something huge or big that happens in the Bloodgrace series. So she's probably holding off until book 5 or 6 or 7 to announce why she's doing that. But she's still a character. She's still prevalent. So I'm really excited for that. So the only books that I have left to read before I'm going to start book 5, which is my personal choice, it's not necessarily the reading order, but you do have to read Blood Dream, which is like kind of a little short story novella that's in between book 4 and book 5. So I already started Blood Dream, which whenever I say started, I mean opened it up on my Kindle and got to the first page. I haven't read anything, so I'm not putting that in my vlog right now because I haven't even started that. And then there is another short story or novella, and it's called Blood Legacy. And it follows two characters that where I'm at in the Blood Gray series, I've never heard of them before. So I don't know if I'm going to read Blood Legacy yet or if I should wait until I get through or at least introduced to these characters. So I don't know if they become characters or not, or if I'm going to read it before book 5, but I am going to read Blood Dream. I do know that before I move on to book 5. So that's my reading updates. And if anybody is reading the Blood Gray series or going to read the Blood Gray series, I highly suggest, even though Blood Price is a prequel, I personally think that if I would have read Blood Price before I read Blood Mercy, the very first book in the series, I don't know if it would have had as big of an impact on me as it did whenever I read it after book 4. And the reason why I say that is because in books 1, 2, and 3, and even 70% of book 4, these characters are mentioned, but they're not actually like in the world. They're not in the story. So you don't meet them, you don't interact with them, nothing. And then in book 4, like I said, like halfway or 70% through the book, you meet one of them and something happens. And now they are a part of the story. We're not just being told about them anymore. They're there and they're active and they're characters that you're following. And so reading the prequel book after reading book 4 really had a big impact on me because I already had heard about these characters for 4 books now. Now we got introduced to them. At least 2 of the 3. We found out who one of them truly is and why she's such a big deal. So that's why I say like the ending of book 4 really made those characters prevalent. So whenever I read Blood Price, it really hit hard home for me. So I personally would suggest, if you're gonna read the Blood Gray series, read Blood Mercy, read Blood Solace, and then Blood Sanctuary Part 1 and Part 2, and then go back and read Blood Price, because I feel like it's going to have a bigger impact on you, and I think you're going to enjoy the story more. So there's that. That's my update, a super long update. I had a lot to say because I hadn't updated you guys in like 2 days, but I'm going to see what I get done tonight. Read a little bit in the morning, maybe wrap up the vlog tomorrow, and then just get right into the next week vlog and see what I'm going to read. We'll see how far into Order of Scorpions I get tomorrow. We're going to see if I end up picking up Blood Dream, or if I end up picking up any other book. I don't know yet. I'm really wanting to power through the Blood Gray series because I'm absolutely adoring it and I love it and I want to be in that world. But I also know that if I don't start pacing myself, I'm going to start running out of books to read because, like I said, there's only 7 published books right now. Book 8 has a placeholder of a 2024 publication date, and the author wrote on there that this is just a placeholder day until it gets closer to time for it to being released. So it may not even be released this year, possibly. Could be released in the earlier mid next year. And I don't want to get through book 7 by like the end of September and then be waiting months for the next one. I don't think I can do that to myself. So I need to start pacing myself. So I don't know if I'll just read the 2 short stories and kind of get a little bit out of my system and then kind of put off book 5 for a couple weeks. But we're going to see how I feel. But I hope everyone's having a good Friday. I will see you all tomorrow. And I'm going to go record my video that goes up tomorrow because I forgot to record it earlier this week like I had on my agenda. So that's that. I hope everyone has a good night. Bye. Hey everyone, so it is Sunday. I did not update you yesterday because I took the weekend, kind of just relaxed. Sorry for the lack of footage for this week. We really didn't have much going on, and we didn't really get out either. It is 110 degrees outside right now, so we were not going to get out. We just stayed in the apartment basically all weekend, which is fine. We drove down to a neighboring town about 25 minutes away, picked up some pizza because we love the place there, but they don't have it locally, and then came back last night. And then we ended up watching the Mortal Instruments movie on Netflix while we had the pizza, just kind of a relaxed night. And then, just spent the day. I was listening to my book on audio while I played, my Elder Scrolls Online. So I do have an update for you guys. I did finish Order of Scorpions. Now, I had so many high hopes for this book because it started out really, really well. So you are following Osset, and you are going through with her as she's trying to remember who she was. She has no memories, no nothing except waking up in a jail cell. And the, 3 assassins left her there after killing the guy that had basically kidnapped her, which then in turn put her into this place where she was a slave, and she was trained on how to become a slave, and a blade slave is what they call them. And so she's kind of like an assassin, but a slave. And every so often, they do these auctions where orders can come in, bid on the slaves or whatever, and take them back if they want to. Now, the Scorpions, they never bid. They never take a slave or anything. So whenever she is tasked to be the slave that, tends to the Scorpions while they're there, she knows that she's not going to get out. However, the guy that runs this place has asked her, or basically told her, that she is to assassinate somebody, and is very cryptic on who it's supposed to be. She thinks it's a Scorpion, so she thinks that her life is basically dead anyway. So she doesn't hold her tongue when she's telling the Scorpions things. She's not nice or whatever. And then come to find out, it's not even a Scorpion. She figures out who she's supposed to assassinate, and then she ends up living through the thing. And then the guy that was also another slave that she had a kind of relationship with was tasked to kill her. And then all of a sudden she magics her way, or shadow walks her way, I don't know, to the Scorpions, because she's basically dying. They save her life. They take her, they don't even buy her. They just take her. And they're like, you're free. And she doesn't believe them, so she trains with them. So up until she went with the Scorpions, kind of against her will, up until she did that, things were great. It was fast-paced. The world was great. You just kind of wanted to keep listening or reading because you were like, what's going to happen next? Is Osset going to live? What is happening? And then she gets to go with the Scorpions, and things kind of dull out there. I understand that you're following her as she's adjusting and learning to trust them and forming this relationship with them. It was boring, you guys, absolutely boring. We went from nothing but action-packed and angsty, pining, and all of this stuff to absolutely nothing. The angst wasn't there, the build-up wasn't there with the tension, there was no action, there was no nothing. And then by the time it got to the part where it was going to be spicy and there was no more angst, it was well past the time that it should have been. And it just fell flat. I wasn't into it at all. And then the way that it wrapped up was very anticlimactic. At the big twist at the end on who Osset is and everything, just absolutely very anticlimactic. I felt like once Offset went with the Scorpions, the book was basically over. It was miserable. It took forever for me to push myself through this book. It was a 5-star up until then. Now I'm probably going to rate it a 2 or a 3-star, maybe a 3 because I did enjoy my time a little bit, but it fell flat. It went down, and I kind of just fell out of it. I really did. So I'm going to be selling this. Hopefully it can go to a, home that people end up loving this book. The writing wasn't terrible. I really enjoyed Ivy Asher's writing, and I felt like I could just, meld into the world very easily, and I could just sink into the story. So I'm definitely going to be giving Ivy Asher more tries, because I think she is a very talented author, and I really enjoyed that aspect. But for the story and the plot progression and the romance in here, just fell absolutely flat. So I'm going to be giving this to somebody else that hopefully will love it more than I did. So probably going to rate it a 3-star. So that's kind of the wrap up I have for you. I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog. I had such high hopes for Order of Scorpions because I came off the high of reading that 5-star read of Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. So amazing. And then Order of Scorpions started out, and I was like, I'm in for this. Like, is this another 4 or 5-star read? I was just loving it. And then, the halfway mark, 40% mark, it just went downhill for me, and it just never came back up, because then you hear the twist at the end, and you're just like, that's what it was? That is what we were building up to. So it didn't hit for me, which is fine. Not every book is going to hit, but I'm going to go ahead and end my vlog, figure out what I'm going to start the next vlog off on reading. I don't quite know. I have a few books still on my TBR, but we will see how that goes. So hopefully you stay tuned, and hopefully I can get some more 5-star reads, or at least some really strong 4 stars where I'm just really enjoying the books and stuff. But we're going to see how that goes. So hope everyone had a great week. Again, sorry for not much, footage of what the husband and I did throughout the week, because we didn't even really do anything. So hopefully next week will be different. But definitely remember to like and subscribe. Make sure that you head on over to my Patreon and get in on the book club. I have the poll up so you can pick what book we're going to start next. And I will see you guys in the next vlog. Bye.